Senator Hayes.
Yes, ma'am.
Senate Bill 765 now.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much, Madam Vice Chair. I thought I had a panel here for Senate Bill 765. Yeah, come on up.
Okay.
It doesn't say who's on the panel in that testimony, but
just for the record, and so the Vice Chair know that each individual that's seated here is signed in. Just want to have you guys quickly give your name so she can check her list to make sure you signed in and testify.
Wasin Cho Hall.
Okay.
Colby Smith.
Okay.
Kristen Pierce with Our Daily Delights Food Services.
Okay.
Kendrick Tillman, Greater Baltimore Black Chamber of Commerce. Peter Daniels, the IFA Group.
Okay.
You good, Madam Chair?
Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is there room for one more person? No, but then we'll go to the next part of the group.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Chair. Good afternoon, Senator Antonio Hayes from the 40th Legislative District of Baltimore City. For the record, here to introduce Senate Bill 765. This bill should not be strange to this committee as we passed it unanimously last year with some small amendments. This bill, Senate Bill 765, centers around investment in hub zones and opportunity zones across Maryland. Through these diverse incubators, this cutting-edge initiative sends resources to businesses in these zones along with the skills to thrive. Investing in minority-owned businesses is not only a matter of social justice, but also economic opportunity. Black entrepreneurs often face systemic barriers in accessing capital, which can stifle innovation and limit growth opportunities for their business. This lack of investment and support hampers the overall economy by restricting the full potential of a segment that could drive substantial economic growth and innovation. A study of McKinsey and Company highlighted that closing the racial wealth gap could potentially add $1 trillion to $1.5 trillion in the U.S. economy by 2028. While this figure encompasses more than just business investment, it underscores the economic potential that could be unlocked by addressing systematic disparities. Furthermore, investment in minority-owned businesses can stimulate job creation, especially in those same communities. Businesses from Prince George's County to Baltimore, from Frederick to the Eastern Shore, can benefit from this bill. This, in turn, can lead to increased economic activity and stability in these areas, contributing to the overall health of Maryland's economy. The multiplier effect of investing in underrepresented entrepreneurs can have far-reaching implications for economic development and social equity. The Business Diversity Incubator Bill is an action that will move Maryland towards its further goals. Colleagues, earlier this afternoon and last year, we heard testimony in reference to Equitech and other incubator systems that help support many of our colleges and universities here in the state and many of our larger institutions. This Diversity Incubator Bill essentially lifts up the grassroots entrepreneurs that are on the ground every day that's driving Maryland's economy. And so with that, colleagues, I thank you for your attention and I urge a favorable report on Senate Bill 765.
Thank you. I'm Colby Smith, CEO of Digital Bay Center Incorporated and member of the Greater Baltimore Black Chamber of Commerce. I want to thank Madam Chair, Vice Chair, and the committee for the chance to advocate for Senate Bill 765. It fights poverty by creating jobs, much in line with Governor Moore's plan. It's a historic, first-of-its-kind bill that targets hub zones and opportunity zones to invest in startups and increase business growth in underserved areas of the state, increase the number of thriving businesses, and grow Maryland's tax base. It opens the door for Maryland to become the new Silicon Valley of the United States. Minority founders often face significant challenges in securing early-stage funding, which is crucial for turning ideas into viable businesses. Data from the Kauffman Foundation finds that Black founders are 3 times more likely than white founders to have their growth negatively impacted by a lack of capital. A Crunchbase report in 2020 showed that Black and Latinx founders received only about 2.6% of the total VC funding in the U.S. that year. CNBC reports in 2021, VCs pledged to make diversity a top priority, and Black founders saw historic year-over-year gains in securing VC funding. But by the end of 2022, adverse market conditions led to a 36% drop in VC dollars, but Black entrepreneurs saw a 45% decrease. In 2023, Black founders in the U.S. got less than 0.5% of all venture dollars, about $661 million out of $136 billion, TechCrunch reports. This is the lowest in recent years. These data points reflect systemic challenges within the venture capital ecosystem. Senate Bill 765 is a legislative step in the right direction. I want to thank the Governor's Office, members of the Legislative Black Caucus, and champions of this bill, Senator Antonio Hayes and Delegate Melissa Wells, for their bold leadership and support. I ask the favorable report from the committee.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Smith, McCarthy, Nakara Hall. I get that right?
Thank you for this opportunity. My name is Wasin Cho. I have been a Maryland resident for 20 years, long enough to say that this state has raised me. More heartfelt, the city of Baltimore has given me a home where it is often said, one least expects to find dreams and new beginnings. This bill is about giving same solid hope to a generation that is constantly fearful of its future. I run a small studio business in Baltimore where we train others in the art of production and storytelling. It's a business I understand pretty well. Having been a performing arts professor, a writer, director, and a documentarist for quite a number of years. Combine this with my current work as a language and cultures professor, and you understand the passion I have for building businesses that arise from the soul of a community. Those who live in a community are best placed to develop businesses that lift that community in the most affirmative way. At some point, surely, we must invest sufficiently in building the small businesses we so often ignore and allow communities to shape the neighborhoods of their dreams. Let's dare to incubate the entrepreneurial efforts of so many so that a chain of success can be multiplied. I have seen what most young people are afraid of: irrelevance, being forgotten, ignored. They're seeking to find their footing in a world that tells them, go line up for a job, while it offers very little towards incubating their dreams. We need to help shape and shift this reality. So I ask you to please find this bill in your favor. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Next is Kendrick Tillman.
Madam Vice Chair, members of the committee, we just want to thank you for allowing me to be here this afternoon. I'm Kendrick Tillman, president of the Greater Baltimore Black Chamber of Commerce. We have over 200 businesses, and actually being able to reach out to them about their challenges, the number one challenge is always access to capital. And so we want to make sure that our state is investing in our small businesses, because we know that of course brings tax revenue back to our state. And as we all say, when small businesses do better, Maryland does better. And we at the Greater Baltimore Black Chamber of Commerce represents Baltimore City, Baltimore County, Anne Arundel County, Howard County, and Harford County, and having constituents in all throughout the state, and really finding out what could help them. It's always resources that are financial as well as educational. And so having the state invest in a diversity incubator bill will allow us to create resources as well as supply resources to our small businesses so they could actually scale and get to the next level. We did a survey across the country and found that only 2% of small businesses have more than one employee. And so this investment helps us to be able to help small businesses scale past that one employee so that we can increase our tax revenue here in the state of Maryland. Thank you. We ask for a favorable report for Senate Bill 765.
Mr. Tillman. Peter Daniels.
Yes. Good afternoon, Finance Committee. My name is Peter Daniels. I am the owner of the IFA Group, where we actually support small businesses in terms of helping sellers transition. During that process, we have learned that the majority of small businesses that are here in Maryland, quite a bit of them are being transitioned out. We think this is a great opportunity to allow us to be able to get new entrepreneurial spirit within the state of Maryland, to actually help employees, teach them how to run businesses, successful businesses, and as Tillman said, it helps with the tax base within the state of Maryland. We also know that one of the quickest way to wealth is to own your own business, similar to what the chairman had, where she had her own insurance company and actually sold it not too long ago. It's the same opportunity that we'd like to give to entrepreneurs here in Baltimore. I hopefully that you will support this bill. Thank you very much and have a good day.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Daniels, and now we have Kristen Pierce.
Hello, esteemed Vice Chair and members of the Committee for the Senate Finance. It is my honor to affirm that I am in support of Senate Bill 0765 and House Bill 1490 with a written and verbal yes with both. I'm excited to say that due to the advocacy of the people in our community, Kobe Smith with the Digital Bay Center Incubator Program, Senator Antonio Hayes, and Delegate Melissa Wells, strides have been made. Today, we make history in trying to do so on a greater scale. My name is Kristen Pierce, and I am a resident of Harford County. I am also a small minority business owner in the state of Maryland. I have not only the skill set, innovation, and ingenuity necessary for successful business growth and also the experience. However, like most people in my community, I lack the financial resources for capital. After diligent research, I have found a myriad of fellowships with successful cohorts. However, with that being said, I have had several failed attempts because of the social and economic disadvantages associated with my community. Finding an incubator that, although it's outside of my region and caters to my very niche market, with as far as consumer-based products, it had absolutely no clue with how to appeal to the market with disadvantaged and underserved communities. Or they altogether are so far removed and out of touch that they don't realize that there are disparities within the different demographics. So for that alone, that reason alone, I ask that you would be in support of SB 0765 and HB 1490 with a yes. We ask that you would be just in your decision and grant us access to provide resources for the Business Diversity Incubator Program bill. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Pierce. Do we have any questions from the committee? Seeing none, we'll call up the rest of the votes. And
Thank you, Madam Chair.
thank you very much for all the information. And now we'll have Altamont Wilkes, Maurice Alexander, Michael Hunter, Adrian Jones, David Smith, Simpson. And we'll begin with Altamont.
Thank you. Altamont Mark Wilkes. I'm a business owner from Hagerstown and Frederick, Maryland. This legislation is sorely needed right now. I can tell you firsthand, not only just from lived experience, I am a returning citizen. I've been home 5 years, and in that time, I've built up not only a business for myself, but for like-situated returning citizens, those who have entrepreneurial endeavors, yet cannot access much-needed resources. And those resources are not only financial, but financial literacy, and how to not only start a business, but how to maintain one. This legislation will not only allow for the access to much needed economic resources, but it will have a very, very noticeable impact upon the public safety of these neighborhoods. Because from what I've experienced, commerce crushes crime. I have been very active in teaching indigenous entrepreneurs, for lack of a better word, drug dealers, to change the product, to go from cocaine to Coca-Cola, to go from Percocets to Pepsi, because it shows in the example and template that I've already rolled out with the help of my community, my family, and with government resources. So this legislation will have a definite impact in the lives of those who sorely need it, those disadvantaged entrepreneurs and those on the margin who aren't so disadvantaged. Well, it'll work for everybody, the whole community.
Thank you, Mr. Wells. And before I go any further, is Adrian Jones here? Oh, okay, that's Adrian, okay. Maurice Alexander?
Good afternoon, Madam Vice Chair and members of the Finance Committee. My name is Maurice Alexander, founder of the Oshun Talent Agency and a member of District 40, and I'm in support of Senate Bill 765. With this bill, it will allocate resources to business incubators throughout impoverished neighborhoods in Maryland, which will help stimulate Maryland's economy. In short, saying yes to Senate Bill 765 is saying yes to opportunity. It's saying yes to new beginnings. It's saying yes to dreams being realized, and it's saying yes to a better Maryland. I thank you for your time, and you have a great day.
Thank you. Michael Hunter?
Good afternoon, my name is Michael Hunter. I'd like to say hello to everyone here on the Finance Committee, and I'll be speaking in reference to support of Senate Bill 765 from my perspective as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, and also recent chairman of the advisory board for Volunteers of America, VOA Works, which was a DOL funded program to help finance the returning citizens that were engaged in both workforce development and entrepreneurial activities. I'm writing in support, or actually I'm testifying in support of Senate Bill 765 as pivotal as it relates to them, that is crucial for fostering economic prosperity and wealth creation within Maryland, particularly within diverse communities. It stands as a landmark initiative poised to enhance accessibility, equity, competitiveness, and adherence to contemporary enterprise standards and practices in our state. At its core, this legislation directly addresses the pressing need for economic transformation in underserved areas. This is in addition to a lot of the gains that have come from a lot of the other programs that are in place, but specifically focusing on diverse communities by instituting the Business Diversity Incubator Program. Grants will be accessible to a spectrum of qualified enterprises, including social, for-profit, nonprofit, and charitable organizations, to establish incubators fostering diverse businesses. These incubators will serve as catalysts for the birth of new ventures, leveraging grant funding and other resources to support startups across our community. I respectfully ask for your favorable vote of Senate Bill 765, and thank you for this time.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hunter. Adrian Jones?
Good afternoon. Thanks for having me. My name is Adrian Jones. I'm in support of this bill, most of all for returning citizens, which I am myself. Now, I believe that this bill will help us in a way that commerce really can't. It's educational. I learned that the only choices that we have is education. You know, nothing beats it, not even money. The reason people earn money is because they have some sort of education. So I'm a current author at this time, and I want to start a publishing company for the at-risk youth in my neighborhood in East Baltimore to show them that education is the only way out of everything. There is no way you can be anything. You can give somebody $1 million if they don't know how to spend it. It makes no difference. So I want to push forth this bill and speak on behalf of it, on behalf of at-risk youth. I'm trying to reach them as best as I can. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. David Smith?
Yes. Good afternoon. Thank you for the opportunity to speak before you today. My name is David Smith. I represent one half of the Digital Barber School Multimedia Incubator, ahead of the game. As a master barber that served over 3 decades within the beauty barbering industry, partnered with my brother, a media professional with 2 decades experience in Baltimore's local broadcast market, we would respectfully request your support for Senate Bill 765. Why, may you ask? Well, my brother and I have created a digital barbering school multimedia incubator that will produce more businesses in the form of mobile barbershops synced with marketing production teams that will assist in the growth and proliferation of these businesses within underserved communities. This process functions as follows. Barber students and media interns collab to produce marketing content. Media interns will regularly produce segments that will be included in an ongoing web series that highlights barbering in various lifestyles. Media interns will create content for various social media platforms that highlights barbering in various lifestyles. Media interns will also use ongoing web series to establish and grow customers for barbering students. Barber student tutorials and social media content creation will provide media interns with ongoing projects that will better their production skills. ALTG, ahead of the game, incubator will create more licensed barbers with the intent to open and operate their own barbershop franchises equipped with its own marketing and production team. AOTG Incubator will create skilled media professionals, eventually forming production teams that will produce marketing and media content for the consumption of a wide viewing audience. Furthermore, this legislation is necessary to support Maryland's economic development for businesses in diverse communities. This historic legislation will be utilized to make Maryland business creation more equitable, competitive, and up-to-date with modern enterprise standards and protocols. Therefore, we, my brother and I, as well as others in attendance here today, are in support of the Diversity Incubators Bill, SB 765.
Thank you. And now we have Dr. Johnny Simpson. He's not there. Johnny, Dr. Johnny, you're not here? Johnny, you're not here?
Calling Dr. Johnny.
Is there a doctor in the house? Okay. All right, okay, we have one more witness, and it's Trey Hayes, and he is virtual, so you can watch him up on the screen. Okay, Trey.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is DeAndre Hayes. I'm here to lend my support today for Senate Bill 765. This bill proposed by Senator Hayes seeks to establish the Business Diversity Incubator Program Fund within the Department of Commerce. It aims to provide grants to certain business entities to establish business incubators, thereby fostering a more diverse and equitable tech landscape in Maryland. As the founder of Green Page LLC, a platform dedicated to promoting Black-owned businesses, I understand firsthand the challenges faced by entrepreneurs, especially those from underrepresented communities. While my company is in its fledgling state, the support outlined in SB 765, particularly through the Business Diversity Program, could greatly accelerate our growth and impact. The need for initiatives like SB 765 is underscored by the sobering statistics from Crunchbase. According to their latest data, Black founders in the U.S. received only 48% of all venture capital dollars allocated last year, amounting to approximately 661 million out of $136 billion. This marks the lowest percentage in recent history and highlights a disturbing trend of declining support for Black-owned businesses. Furthermore, the data reveals a significant drop in funding for Black entrepreneurs throughout the year, with funding plummeting to 0.13% in Q3 of 2023, before slightly recovering in 2024. This downward trend of funding is alarming and underscores the urgent need for targeted intervention to address systematic barriers faced by Black entrepreneurs. SB 765 represents a critical step towards fostering a more inclusive and equitable tech ecosystem in Maryland. In conclusion, I urge the committee to support Senate Bill 765 and take decisive action to address the disparities faced by Black entrepreneurs in our state. Together, we can create opportunities for all aspiring entrepreneurs to thrive and contribute to our economy here in Maryland. Thank you for your consideration.
Okay, thank you, Trey. Are there any questions from the Senator Hayes?
Madam Chair, I'll be brief. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I just want to thank everyone who came down there and testified on behalf of this bill. As you see, I know we took a lot of time. There's no opposition to the bill. But as you see, there's a great deal of enthusiasm and support in the community for tools like this to help elevate so many entrepreneurs here in our state. And so thank you for your time and indulgence this afternoon, and thank everyone who came here to testify this afternoon.
Thank you all for your information.